I'm here with Mr. Mike, and he's gonna show us how to properly draw and shoot a pistol, because I'm not as good with a pistol as I am spurring bulls.
That's true.
You might be surprised at that, but I've just spent my life being the greatest cowboy that's ever walked the earth. But we're gonna let this shooter teach me how to be a shooter.
Because I heard you can't be a super puncher unless you know how to shoot.
Exactly. Fast. So you get to learn with us.
What we're gonna do here is we're gonna do some just basic pistol shooting, man. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of put you in a day of in the life of me. So we're gonna put on one of these super snazzy belts here. These are called Rowan belts. They're made by a guy who was an SF dude. He started his own company, but they're super rigid. They got Velcro in them. You gotta put this liner on,
okay.
Right? And then this just Velcros on like mine, as you see. When you get this holster, you want this holster kind of just right there, more or less at like your 3 o'clock position. That's fine. All right, and I got two pistols here for you. We got a Glock 19 and a Glock 17. The only difference is the pistol grip length and then the capacity of bullets you can hold, and one's got a dot, one does not.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
If they wanted the basic pistol class, this is how we start every time. It's the fundamentals, because just like I imagine riding a horse or anything, right? If I don't know anything about that, it's the little things that all matter, right?
Yes,
how to walk up to it, how to get on it, how to saddle it, right? All those things. So same thing, how to stand, how to draw, all those things are super important, because if those aren't like crystal clear and those aren't really ingrained,
yes, sir,
everything else fall apart, right?
Yes.
I can't be one of these guys and run around and shoot and look sexy if I can't draw correctly. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's step up here real fast. The first thing we're gonna talk about is stance. I like to take my feet, put them together just like so, bring it back a little bit where my toes kind of bisect. You know where your toes meet your foot actually, kind of thing?
Yes, sir.
I like to bisect that and then go shoulder width apart. Weight on the balls of my feet, all right, knees slightly bent, and the center of gravity over my belt buckle. All right, now that's our stance. All right, from here, my posture is relaxed, even though my weight's over the center of gravity is over my belt buckle, right? My posture is relaxed, I'm upright, my arms are relaxed at the side, and now I'm gonna concentrate on my reference point. Reference point is being, for me, my forearm on my pistol grip. That right there, you see how my forearm rests kind of inside my pistol grip right there?
Yes, sir.
That's where I want that every single time. Like I said, my posture is neutral, my head is upright, my shoulders are relaxed, my arms are relaxed, and then when I go for the draw, the next thing that happens is the paired sympathetic response. So punch the elbow back, move my firing hand to my pistol grip. Meanwhile, simultaneously, paired sympathetic response, my left hand comes for my meet and greet.
Okay.
So this hand comes up here because it's ergonomically faster, so when I draw my pistol, and I grip it here. So I go to draw, I'm gonna punch my elbow back with my hand, I swoop it down, I defeat my retention device. That's this little doohickey right here. My thumb's gotta swipe that back, otherwise the gun can't come out. I get a good purchase point, good grip on that pistol grip, and then I pull and draw the pistol out. Immediately rotate it 90 degrees, that way if you had to shoot someone you could, right? Kind of a knife hand, right? Keep all your fingers elongated, and then kind of can it at a 45. And then put your palm, I like to put mine right here in the middle of my abdomen. Now, as I draw, I don't move this hand, but my firing hand brings the gun center line, all right? And then we build the grip. Good purchase point, high and tight up on this back strap. So we don't want any space in there, okay? And then we don't want any space down here. Wrap all 3 fingers around, all right? This is my backseat driver. He just hangs out. He can do whatever he wants. Interlace these 4 fingers just on top of those fingers, all right? Now this is the crucial part where a lot of people either kind of make it or break it. You got to drive that thumb down to lock this tendon out.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you're gonna get what's called muzzle flip. And as you fire this pistol, it's gonna do this.
Yes, sir.
Because there's nothing driving it down. Does that
Yes,
make
sir.
sense? So if I drive my thumb down, I lock this tendon, it keeps that muzzle down, and as I fire, this thing can only go in recoil, in its recoil path. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
That looks great. So once we've done this, we've made our meet and greet, we're gonna do to the presentation, okay? 2 rules, all right? Rule number 1, don't bring your eyes to the sights. And then number 2 rather, look cool, all right? So as we press it out, I wanna bring the sights to my eyes, all right? So all I'm doing is bringing this on a slight glide path up, is I bring the dot to my eyes. What we don't wanna do is build and ingrain this, oh, I gotta shoot this guy, right? And then you do this crazy thing every time, because you constantly, now you're driving strain in the back of your neck, muscle tremors, right? That will lead to shakiness, especially with a rifle or bigger kind of gun. But with pistol, the margin for error is, it grows drastically,
Yeah, sure.
especially as the targets, grow in size or distance, right? So what we don't want to do is bring our head down to the sights. We want to just bring our pistol to our eyes every time. So my head does not move ever. Does that make sense? Oh, and then the third rule here is what we don't want to do is, I'm talking about a nice even glide path, right? What we don't want to do is what we call bowling. So as you're here, we don't want to do this.
Yes, sir.
All right, and we don't want to do what's called fishing, right? Where I'm like, freeze, one of those things,
Yes,
right? So we want a nice even glide path. Now with our elbows, as we press out, I get to this point. For newer guys, I like to kind of explain it where I go all the way to the point of tendon lock or elbow lockout, and then come back just a hair. Okay, so I'm gonna press my elbows out and come back just a hair. Now what that does is kind of creates a little sewing machine. So as I start shooting, my triceps and elbows and my forearms absorb all that recoil. If you keep your elbows bent, what do you think is gonna happen? This thing's gonna do this all day, right? Because I have nothing holding this gun out. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
If you do it too hard and lock your elbows out, see how my arms are shaking? That's what you don't want. All right, it's a happy medium of go to lockout, come back just a touch. So now let's talk about how we properly load and unload the pistol. So we don't ever want to mess with our gun, whether it be a rifle, pistol, down here, all right, whatever, because now my eyes are focused where? Down here, right? What's translatable is if I'm ever in a scenario where I'm shooting bad guys or being shot at with bad guys and something happens to my pistol, like I needed to conduct a reload, I have a malfunction, something happens, I don't want to take my attention away from downrange, right, and lose all of that awareness by now looking down here, because now I can't see my buddies and where they're going, right? I can't see what the enemy's doing. So it's crucial we bring our weapon to what we define as our working space. And now that's 6 to 8 inches away from our face, give or take, and above the clavicle. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do here, and this is just the deliberate load, right? What I'm trying to show you now is just a very safe, redundant system. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock my slide to the rear. By 2 methods, I can pull back on the slide on the rear and then push up on the slide stop,
Yes,
this guy.
sir.
Or I can pinch with my index finger and my thumb with my fingers not masking the barrel, right? Pull the slide to the rear, push up on the slide stop, either way. But I'm locking the slide to the rear. But when you pinch, it's we like to turn the gun about a 45, pinch that way, and then pull it this way. Yep. So now we have the slide locked to the rear. We conduct what's called a 3-point safety inspection. So I'm looking down my barrel, down my magazine well, and at my breech face, right?
Okay.
Breech face is this little guy right here where the firing pin comes out and strikes the primer of the round. My mag well is my mag well, obviously, and my barrel is my barrel. What this is giving me is the opportunity to make sure, 1, it's not loaded already, right? Or 2, there's anything stuck inside my barrel. Or 3, there's anything wrong with my breech face, right? So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn my gun at 45 degrees or 90 degrees this way. I'm gonna take my next magazine out, and now I'm gonna insert this magazine. I'm gonna rotate the gun back over, and I'm gonna hit the slide release, but I'm gonna look at the bullet and try to watch it chamber itself. Now, if it's real lubricated and good to go like ours right now, you probably can't see that, it's going pretty quick. So now I have to do what's called a press check. I'm gonna do a press check anyways. So now I'm gonna rotate the gun again, 45 degrees to the left, and I'm gonna pinch again the front side sulerations up here with my thumb and index, pull back ever so slightly, and expose a piece of that casing. Okay? And now I know for sure I have successfully loaded around in my gun. Maybe give the magazine a tap in the back of the slide just to make sure it's in battery. And now I look my gun in my holster. So we look the gun into the holster because it's pretty much an administrative move, and there's no point to do, like you ever seen in movies, people are like that. It's just, there's no point to it, right? So I'm just gonna look at my holster and look my gun in my holster and check the retention.
Okay.
Make sure it's good to go. So we want our bullets facing towards our belt buckle.
Okay.
All right. Now, so when we draw our magazines out of our pouch here with the pistol, you want to do an index method, right? So as my support hand comes down, I take my finger and I put it along the spine of this magazine, right? And kind of have a reference point, so that when I go to put it in my pistol, I kind of have a reference point there. Does that make sense? So I kind of help guide it, and then I can run it home. All right. Now, if it's the other way, and I go to draw this, you see how it's backwards?
Yes, sir.
So bullets towards the belt buckle. Insert that magazine. Good. All right. Shooter ready. Stand by. Up. All right. not bad, holster. Now, you went super low because you kind of had a little anticipation.
Yes,
all right, so you came out here, you put your dot on the target, and you were ready to go, and then you went, ugh.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sir.
Squeeze the trigger without disturbing the sights.
Yes, sir.
If you think about it that way, it's pretty simple, right? Just put that red dot on what you want to shoot, and then pull the trigger without disturbing that little red dot, and that bow will go where you want it to. Shooter ready. Stand by. Up. Same exact spot. Not bad. Make sure you're putting the dot inside the circle, and then even pressure all the way back. Up. Not bad. We're getting there. Up. There you go. So you're slapping that trigger a little bit, all right? So what I want you to do is look at my finger here. When you squeeze this trigger, I want you to apply pressure and come to what we call the wall. All right, so there's all this play and slack. I want you to come, and you see how you meet a bunch of resistance right here? That's what we call the wall. Hold on the wall, finite that dot, really refine it, and then when you're ready, continue applying even pressure until it
Yes,
goes.
sir.
Make
Yes,
sense?
sir.
Up! Not bad, we're getting there. Up! Woo-hoo! That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. There's a big difference.
Huge difference, right?
Yes,
all right, let's try it again. Anybody can do it once, but can you do it
Yes,
twice? Up! Got it. My
Yes,
job's
sir.
done here.
Pretty lethal at 4 yards away, baby.
All right, let's try 2 rounds now, all right? So from the holster, 2 rounds. You're gonna hear the commands of shooter ready, stand by, up, you'll draw, do everything we talked about, and fire 2 rounds.
Yes, sir.
Because when you squeeze that trigger, you find the wall, hold pressure, pull the trigger without disturbing the sight. The gun's gonna go off, the gun's gonna cycle, maintain positive control of that trigger. Hold the trigger to the rear, barely let it out. You hear that click?
Yes, sir.
That's the sear inside the trigger resetting.
Yes, sir.
All right, hold pressure right then and there, and now all you have to pull is about half a pound or so from there.
You bet.
To where if you pull the trigger, the gun cycles, you come off, now it's all 2.5 pounds again or whatever.
Yes,
Does that make sense? All right, let's try it again. Up! Fix your thumbs. There you go. Not bad, holster. One more time. So the first one, you had a little anticipation, and you kind of whoop, you yanked that trigger a little
Yes,
bit.
sir.
And then the next one, you settled it a bit more, came to reset, I heard it, and then you pulled it again, it wasn't bad, all right? So let's work on that first one now and go from there.
Oh, dang.
Don't worry about it. There you go. You're still kind of slapping that trigger a little bit.
Yes, sir.
All right? All right, you see how you have this giant gap here?
Yes,
and
sir.
now this thumb's almost all the way down here. We don't want that. Ready? I want this thumb like canted down like this all the way. See how I have this piece of grip tape right here?
Yes, sir.
That's where I want my thumb goes every time. It's a reference mark for me. So you have that blue dot.
Yes, sir.
That's where it's a little reference mark. So I put grip tape there. So I know if I don't feel grip tape, my thumb's in the wrong spot. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
sir.
when I grip it, boom, it's right there. Come out. Bang, 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 bang. All right. Up. There you go. There you go. Same exact hole. That's how a super puncher does it right there, huh?
I'm low in the beginning
Yep.
because I'm slapping the trigger.
You're
and
anticipating.
my thumb
right?
is.
So you're anticipating the recoil of the
Yes,
round
sir.
going off. Does that make sense? So we have a drill that we could do called ball and dummy. I don't have any what we call snap caps or fake bullets. But it's a really good drill to do. I personally hate it because it exposes all your flaws. But what it does is it does that really well right there. Well, you'll come out and you'll have your buddy load your gun for you so you don't know what's in the chamber. And it could be a fake bullet or a real bullet. but you come out as if it's a real bullet, right? No matter what. And when you press out, you'll see if someone does this real bad.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because it's a fake bullet in there, right?
Yes,
but
sir.
it shows you that you're what we call anticipating it.
Yes,
So
sir.
if I'm anticipating it, I'm like, this is gonna recoil, right? Because you got a mini explosion going
Yes,
off
sir.
in your face, right? So what everyone, it's natural, all of us to be like, ugh, right? No matter what, even no matter how good you are. But that's the big thing. If you can focus and finite and get that down to a point where you're super comfortable with it, where every single time you pull that trigger and it's just nice and smooth and that dot doesn't move, you'll never drop them low like that.
It's just like bull riding.
Oh, I imagine. I've never done it. But
Your intuition
I would.
says one thing,
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
but what you're supposed to do is counterintuitive.
What are you supposed to do?
Where you're not supposed to anticipate the recoil.
Oh, well, how are you supposed to do? What are you saying with bull riding?
So, a bull, like whenever he comes up in the front,
Yep.
your intuition tells you to lay back.
Yeah.
But the fundamental, you've got to go to the front. So
Okay.
essentially, you've got to, as his head is coming towards you, you've got to
gotta
drive
drop
out over it.
Okay.
So it's a counterintuitive fundamental.
Sure.
So that's what we talk about, controlling your emotions.
Okay.
Because if your emotions take you over in the buck and shoots, now all of a sudden you can't execute the fundamentals. So if your emotion, I guess, takes over, which I think more than the emotion of recoil would be the emotion of battle, that I'm
Yeah.
sure a soldier would have to be counterintuitive. More so the fact that there's bullets flying at him.
Right.
This seems like something you can get better at with training.
100%.
Yes, sir.
Some of these guys, man, and gals, they've put hours.
Yes,
and
sir.
Hours and bullets and
Yes, sir.
bullets. And that they have gotten to the point where they're at because of that right there.
Yes, sir.
Of training and shooting. So you can tell drastically the difference between someone who's untrained and someone who is trained as far as the level, right, of which like these guys and girls are, compared to someone who's maybe more novice, because you'll see flinching,
Yes, sir.
little minute errors like that
You
just
bet.
you won't see these guys do.
Correct.
So, all right, man, you want to do some more of this, or you want to go over there?
I'm gonna get
Come on,
two
man.
more of these
There
just
you go.
because.
All right, let's go to 3 rounds. All right, I want you to do it kind of fast. Then.
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't want you to change anything we just talked about.
Okay.
Come out of that, shoot fast. Bam, get it. Line that side up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Don't move that dot. Squeeze the trigger. Squeeze the trigger without moving the dot.
Yes, sir.
Shoot it right up.
Yes,
Stand
sir.
by. Up. Get some. Do it again. Oh, yeah. Do it again. Talking about Dale. Hold to that bad boy. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. You just put 3 in the hole.
Yeah.
My work here is done. Let's go ahead and lock them clear real fast down. So facing downrange. Bring that pistol up to your working space. Drop that source of feed. There you go. Perfect. Lock the slide of the rear. Perfect. 3-point safety inspection. Slide forward. And holster. Outstanding, brother.
I got my arm around it like it's one of These were already all there, Donnie.
Those are mine, actually.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
edit that out.
Yeah.
We're gonna edit that out.
We'll get some brown stickers to put over.
Yeah, exactly.